G'day, battlers, and today we're jumping in for another Silph Arena Polkadot Cup tournament sweep. This time from another Aussie battler, Meezer76, one of the girls that PvP and someone I was able to spend some more time with in the Sydney Regionals last weekend. Meezer, one of the only two people who attended all four of the Sydney Regional tournament, so really dedicated battler and definitely some serious talent there as well. Now, if you didn't watch my last video about 2 days ago now with Otto Saha's run through another Polkadot Cup tournament, the two have very different teams. So Misa's team is down in the bottom right, and I think they only share two Pokemon similar. So after this video, if you haven't got enough Polkadot Cup content, you can go watch that one as well and get an idea of a different team. Also, if like this team doesn't really suit your vibe, it's like, I'm not a big fan of running Oranguru, then you can sort of check out Otto's run as well and get a completely different team build and see how you like that. In addition to that, last night on Twitch, hosted the Australis Shield tournament. Casted by some legends, OCIC champion Jakobovic, and of course Brisbane runner-up Fishy Legs 2, who they casted through the Australis Shield. Essentially, some of the top Australian battlers battling through in the Polkadot Cup tournament as well. So that was. You can still watch the VOD on my Twitch channel. I will be uploading that over to the Australis Shield YouTube channel as well, but as I'm recording this, it's not there yet. It's what I'm going to do after this, but it'll get there. But if like right this second you want to watch, you can watch the Twitch VOD as well. But with that said, a lot of Polkadot Cup content going around, but today we're going to be focusing in on Meezer's run through a Flash Tournaments for All tournament in the Polkadot Cup. And so yeah, going through a team in the bottom right hand side, we have that Alolan Raichu, Oranguru, Normal Castform, Samurott, Nidoking, and the Celio. I'm going to quickly sort of in the next couple minutes talk about, so Mies has given me sort of a heads up about how she built that team, I suppose, some ideas about how that team was put together, and then we'll jump into the battles. If you just want to skip straight to the battles, as always, the timestamps are all in the progress bar down below. So, if you just want to sort of see how the team goes, like you already have an idea about why it is the way it is, you can jump straight in. But let's talk about it. So Meezer said that she was sort of really confident in the sort of middle four. So the Oranguru, Castform, Samurott, and Nidoking. So again, she was in a similar mindset to Otto, where bulk was an important thing to sort of build into the team. And I've been saying that for weeks, right? It's like bulk is important in this cup for sure. Now, normal Castform, same thing that Otto was saying about rock being a really important typing. So the access to rock weather ball really gives it a lot of play up against the bug types, up against the flying types. And in my opinion, it is the number one sort of pick in the meta. Like everyone should be running normal Castform. She has gone a slightly, I don't know if it's really slightly left field, because there's obviously two schools of thought on it. She's running the rock weather ball and energy ball moveset instead of the double weather ball, or in packing Hurricane. I've seen a couple of Hurricanes as well, but she's gone for the Energy Ball, giving you a little bit more water coverage. So the Samurotts that are running around, very powerful Pokemon. Speaking of, she's also brought Samurott as a Pokemon that can really spam out those Hydro Cannons, pressure things from, she said even electric types are going to be pressured by that Hydro Cannon, because electric types are generally on the squishier side. There aren't a lot of bulky electrics running around this meta. So it sort of gives a lot of play, a lot of neutral play, a lot of pressure to try and get those shields out of the opponent. Coming in with a Oranguru as well, sort of a bulkier confusion user that also has access to foul play to fight back against other psychic types. And then she sort of just said that Nidoking kind of helped to round it out. And I'm pretty sure she's running a Sand Tomb and Megahorn on that. I did a quick scroll through, just clicked at random points in the video to get the movesets, but otherwise I haven't seen them before. So she's then rounded out her team with the picks on the left and the right. So the Celio is another sort of bulky Pokemon, anti-flyer. I think she's running Aurora Beam and Body Slam. So Body Slam spam also really nice to have. And then running in with that Alolan Raichu, essentially to cover the fighting types that Celio was weak to. So she wanted an electric type and went for an anti-fighter electric type in Alolan Raichu. And in this cup, she's running Wild Charge and Grass Knot. So Wild Charge being that massive nuke potential, obviously debuff yourself, and Grass Knot being a little bit more safer while still giving really nice damage to the water types that are running around as well. But with that said, I think those are sort of the main points. I think that she sort of said that she wasn't super happy with Alolan Raichu. She's not as sold as the Raichu-Celio pair. Raichu being a little bit weaker to the bug damage that is quite rampant in this cup, as well as the Pokemon that are sort of built to beat the Psychic types, like Sand Slash that I can see over there with Night Slash, and then also Oranguru with the sort of counterplay with the foul play. But with all of that said, let's take a look at the round 1 opponent, Tauros Cookie. Tauros running that Kanto Sandslash, the Jumpluff, normal cast form, Galvantula, Talonflame, and Celio. So packing on a fair bit of bulk there, especially with the Jumpluff and the Celio. Cast form bringing some as well. The other 3, not so bulky, but that's okay as long as you sort of balance your team out. You sort of have some Pokemon that might really want shields and some Pokemon that are able to just take the hits and don't need that shield coverage as much, I suppose. Really the benefit of having bulk in this meta in particular. But I mean, straight away, I am sort of seeing that Oranguru doesn't have like a lot of hard counter going on. Like, even though Sandslash has access to Night Slash, Oranguru is still actually able to do a big chunk of damage to that Sandslash, and depending on shields and energy and whatnot, can come away with that win. And outside of that, like it's looking okay. And Galvantula with Lunge as well acts as a bit of a counter, but Galvantula also not tanky, takes a lot from confusion. We'll see how it goes, but let's jump into the very first battle. Warning as well, almost all of the battles in this video are sped up 1.5 times. This very first battle isn't, because I may have forgotten to download it and then plugged it in after the fact when I realized I'd missed it, but I forgot to re-speed it up. So the very first battle will just be played at ×1 speed, and then we'll speed up a little bit from game 2 onwards, so apologies for that. But going into game 1, we have the Samurott into the cast form, and you can see that in the back we are running the normal cast form and the Celio. So we've sort of got like not too bulky, double bulk in the back. But this is not a bad spot for Meezer to be in at all. The Hydro Cannons are really spammy from that Samurott, able to take that cast form down to lower than half health, and now really comfortably able to bring her own cast form in, where no matter what move this is, cast form is now in a pretty solid spot where it's going to be able to just tackle all the way down, really comfortably, have some energy to go into the next matchup. I think it's, as I said that, probably a better play to go for one charge move. Could probably undercharge a little bit, but just going to go full force to try and take that cast form out. Actually getting the shield though, which is really interesting. We can see that like Meezer's health is going down here, but before going down, Tauros Cookie does get that one last charge move. I guess a Hurricane would do a lot at this point. Actually had the Energy Ball. So nice call from Meezer on that one. Was that a defense debuff that I just was? Oh my gosh. Is that 1 in 10, I think? But regardless, in comes the Sandslash, and this is another spot where Energy Ball would be really nice. Unfortunately, CMP tie does go to Tauros Cookie's favor, so Meezer decides to just let it go, tank the Night Slash, and then just bring... Oh god, they got the boost, and I just swap... Actually, was that swapped in Celio? And then swapped, I guess, yeah, swapping out of Sandslash probably makes sense. Bringing the Galvantula to try and deal with the Celio. But Meezer now has double water and has to deal with the electric type going on here. So gets that first the shield out of Meezer with the Lunge bait. And now going for that Hydro Cannon. Again, this is actually why Hydro Cannon Samurott is so powerful in this meta, because even electric types have to be really scared of it. But at this point, Meezer is getting very low. He's barely able to get to the last Hydro Cannon. This is actually because Galvantula is so squishy, is lacking so much bulk. Like, look how much damage that Hydro Cannon does. He's able to survive, but now Celio, if it can survive a discharge, which I think it can, then we'll be able to see a Powder Snow down, and it's just going to be a question of whether Celio is able to do anything up against that little bit of health in the back, taking down the Galvantula. In comes back the Sandslash, and unfortunately, I'm not sure how much an Aurora Beam is going to do, but Sandslash getting to a move first, probably just a Night Slash, but if it's a Rock Tomb, it's, end of days bear. Just a Night Slash. Able to survive. Here comes the Aurora Beam. I really have no concept of an idea. I don't have a clue how much this is going to do, but it is really nice to get to. Is it enough? Sandslash is not very tanky. It is enough. Meezer able to take it out, even though it had to be double water up against Galvantula. That's huge. But going into game 2, you can see we've now sped up now. We've got that normal cast form into the Talonflame. Really nice matchup to be in for cast form with the double super effective Rock Weather Ball, while also being able to time moves quite well with Incinerates. But you can see they went for the Brave Bird. Really brilliant shield from Meezer there. And then Talonflame interestingly staying in. But regardless, we now see the swap out into cast form. And in the back, you can see that Meezer has Samurott as well. So already has a counter to Talonflame in the back. So doesn't really need cast form as much. Lands the energy ball and now swapping into Nidoking. Nidoking, again, unlikely to get one hit KO'd here. This is probably, energy ball, like it's got the poison typing. So Nidoking doesn't care as much. But try to go with the farm down potentially, but didn't end up working out. So Nidoking going to go down here. And then going to bring in Samurott to get a little bit of farm. Again, knowing that Talonflame is in the back, really strong there. But it is going to be the Galvantula, which now means that I guess Castform is still around to be able to try and get a Rock Weather Ball onto that Talonflame in the back. But regardless, gets that Hydro Cannon, gets the shield. Has to make a decision whether Meezer thinks she can get to another another Hydro Cannon before the next move. Actually really nice. Taking the move, counting the moves, getting up to the Rock Weather Ball. This will be enough to take out the Talonflame because it is so incredibly weak to rock damage. But here comes Galvantula now, getting close to a full farm down. Galvantula needed to throw the move there. So this will take Castform out. And now it is going to be a question of whether Samurott can get to a Hydro Cannon before getting farmed down. And he can get to the Hydro Cannon. And I think that this will be enough to take out the Galvantula, securing round 1 for Meezer. But we are going to see game 3 here, with a much worse lead with Samurott into the Jumpluff. So an insta swap into the normal Castform. If they're running sort of Galvantula again, I can't see them swapping into the Galvantula here, but we'll see how this sort of goes regardless. Goes to the Rock Weather Ball to bring that Jumpluff down. It is really tanky, but so is the Castform. So able to just eat up that energy ball and then tackle down into the yellow before getting another one, but actually catching it onto the Castform. This isn't like the worst thing for Meezer. Like, it is a little unfortunate for the move to be used in sort of a less useful setting. But regardless, just chunking on a ton of damage onto this opposing Castform. But Tauros is definitely charging up a fair bit of energy here. So looks like they're just going for a full tackle down, knowing that Meezer can't get to another Weather Ball. And now whatever comes in is going to have to eat a lot of damage. Samurott needing to respect the energy ball. Meezer decides to shield up here. Is just the Weather Ball bait though, so really nicely played by the opponent. And now even if this is a Weather Ball, they won't be able to get to another Energy Ball. So it sort of makes sense for them to go for the Energy Ball there. Meezer deciding to let it go, able to farm down, and has a move ready to throw. Didn't look like she was tapping. Okay, is mad tapping on that Hydro Cannon to try and get it onto the Jumpluff. Not the best Pokemon for it to land on, but still a formidable amount of damage. And now we see the swap out into Nidoking, shielding up the Energy Ball, which would do a nice chunk of damage, and it is actually the Sand Slash in the back. And at this point, there's not much that Nidoking can do. Tauros Cookie still has both shields in the tank, and even with like landing the Sand Tomb defense debuff, unfortunately, it's just good enough. And I think that Tauros is going to run away with a 2-0 shield flex here. Waiting for the Night Slash. Didn't get the boost this time. You know, Night Slash boosts generally only going to come when you least need them, like that little bit earlier when it was just an instant ditch that, a buff, get it off me. I'm running away. But yeah, able to take that one out. But Meezer still taking out the round 2-1. And now going into round 2 against a fellow Girls at PvP that Meezer made sure that I highlighted how wonderful of a human being they are. A German trainer, I'm pretty sure. Who's running a team that I actually really love. Hayleaf88 is running Ampharos here alongside Dugong, Donphan, Jumpluff, Beware, and Beedrill. Now, Ampharos is such an interesting Pokemon. Obviously, like I all because of Butters and Caleb's bet, I ended up running Shadow Ampharos in both OCIC and Brisbane. Top 16 both times, but you know, it's not the greatest Pokemon. But in a meta where there's so much more Psychic type, you know, you've got your Orangaroos, you've got your Alolan Raichus. Ampharos can actually do a lot of work for you with Brutal Swing, Thunder Punch, or, you know, potentially you could go Zap Cannon. I wouldn't recommend it, but you know, you've got electric damage, and then you've also got dark damage, able to pack up on the psychic type. So I think it's a really interesting Pokemon, and I'm really excited to see Hayleaf potentially use it. I'm hoping she uses it because I do want to see it in action. But Dugong is another Pokemon that is actually really powerful in this meta, and I think was really shown off in the Astralis Shield tournament, where Dugong has so much bulk that is just able to power through so many matchups, just straight Icy Wind. I couldn't remember the move for a second there. But it's just really powerful, especially alongside Donphan with counter. it's just a really powerful grouping, and I'm really excited to see these battles. So let's jump into round 2 here. Meezer up against Hayleaf 88, and we have the Nidoking in the lead up against the Beedrill. Poison v Poison, both of them packing that ground damage, but Meezer going to swap straight out there into the Samurott. Not really wanting to take... it is a losing matchup for Nidoking. The Sand Tombs don't do a lot. But look how much damage that Xyzor did to Samurott. It is not a bulky Pokemon. Able to get the Hydro Cannon off, and as Meezer said at the start, able to pressure shields out of these electric types. Really excited to see this Ampharos go, though. But at this point, I think that you can kind of go either way here. I think bringing in Nidoking is the better play, just so you can sort of save that normal cast form for the Beedrill a little bit later on. Does shield up a Brutal Swing. I was going to say I'm not sure how necessary it is, but Nidoking, again, not a very bulky Pokemon. And you can see Brutal Swing takes it to about half health. I can tank 2. Potentially the Volt Switches are enough, potentially not. But able to get the Sand Tomb on there. And it's such a bad move that it still doesn't take it out. But it lets Nidoking farm all the way down and grab a ton of energy. So actually not bad for Nidoking there. And then here comes that Beedrill back, able to get the Sand Tomb on to reduce the defense. But again, it doesn't do a lot of damage. So Beedrill doesn't really need to shield. And then swapping out into normal cast form. I'm not wasting the debuff, but, sort of pressuring the swap out into Jumpluff. And so we now know that normal cast form actually has a lot of stock up against both the Jumpluff and the Beedrill in the back, but it's only got so much health. That Acrobatics did a lot of damage, and these Rock Weather Balls are not doing so much, with Fairy Wind also charging up energy for Jumpluff so quickly as well. It's definitely a little bit of a rough spot. Bringing it down to the red, it only needs one more Rock Weather Ball to land to be able to take it out. Potentially, Meezer could try and just burn the shield and try and tackle down. It looks like she's going for it. She's going for it and able to get the full tackle down. Now able to throw the Rock Weather Ball onto the Beedrill in the back. Still a shield in play, so Hayleaf going to burn that one there. And at this point, you almost have to try and catch a move onto Nidoking, and is actually able to catch the move. At this point, Hayleaf does not want to see a Rock Weather Ball into the Beedrill, but Hayleaf is going to have to take it. Meezer going for that Rock Weather Ball that will take out the Beedrill and secure game 1 for Meezer. Really well played there. Really good identification of what Meezer needed to do. Needing the Rock Weather Ball to land on that Beedrill. But now we've got game 2. Normal cast form going into the Jumpluff. A little bit of a better matchup for Meezer. And you can see that she's also decided to run the Celio, which will be doing a lot of damage to that Jumpluff if it can land. But has to be scared of the Energy Ball. So we'll see how it all plays out. Going just for the Rock Weather Ball brings it down to, again, about half health alongside these tackles. Going to take the move. It is the Energy Ball. It does hurt, but that is why you bring these bulky Pokemon that can take these moves and preserve your shields for later matchups when you might need them. Bringing it all the way down to the red, and now swapping into a Oranguru. Oranguru also, I think, has enough bulk to be able to tank either move here. So taking an Acrobatics on the chin, not letting the confusion down though. Hayleaf swapping out into the Dugong. And now Meezer going straight for that Nuki Psychic. So if this lands, it'll be absolutely huge. It does land, bringing a Dugong down into the yellow. At this point, Meezer can quite comfortably let Oranguru go. Oh, actually no, wants to get a foul play off. We'll be able to get there as well. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. I think that's a little bit of a misplay on Meezer's part. Just off on the counts, I suppose. But now, Castform coming back in. Not going to be able to get to a Rock Weather Ball before, I think. Maybe trying to catch the Icy Wind onto Celio. Hayleaf sort of deciding that it's worth throwing one anyway, now that Meezer's Celio is switch locked in here. Definitely a little bit rough. Donphan coming in. Again, the Body Slam spam is awesome, but it will be debuffed now. Gets the first shield, maybe threatening an Aurora Beam. But now Hayleaf is going to go on a little bit of a tear here with the Body Slam spam. Getting Meezer's last shield. I think there's no more shields in play. Now going for the Body Slam spam in return. Gets the last shield back as well. I guess at this point, Castform in the back would be taking big damage from Donphan. Celio's already taking big damage from Donphan. The counter is really adding up onto Meezer's team that is double weak. I think Meezer was trying to go for the Energy Ball there as well, which would have taken out the Donphan, but then obviously still would have had to face 2 Pokemon in the back, even though one of them had barely any health. But it means 1-1 going into game 3 here, and we're actually running a Alolan Raichu into Beware. As much as Alolan Raichu, Meezer brought it in as an anti-fighter, Bewere's access to Shadow Claw definitely hurts as well. But going for the Wild Charge, gets the shield, and then swapping out into Oranguru, getting 2 confusions in there, sneaking almost a full 1, which is fantastic. And eating the Stomp, easy done. But here comes Ampharos again with access to Brutal Swing. It's a little bit scary for Oranguru. Ampharos does outpace to the Brutal Swings a bit faster than Oranguru is able to get to the foul plays, but you can see how much damage Oranguru's already done to the Ampharos. So Meezer's sort of happy to let the Oranguru go. At this point, bringing in the Alolan Raichu, soaking up a little bit more damage. Potentially, you could shield here. Decides to let it go. Going to put all of her eggs into the Castform basket, which I think is a really nice play. Nice identification of where the state of the game is. Tackling that Ampharos all the way down, and then in it comes the Dugong in the back. With 1 shield still in tow, Meezer charges up to the Energy Ball, throws the Rock Weather Ball, hoping to get a shield out of Hayleaf, and we do get the shield, which means I think at this point Meezer is likely to just go straight up for that Energy Ball to try and take this thing out. Actually taking the Icy Wind on the chin. Meezer, you've got 2 shields. You're allowed to use them, I swear. But going for the Energy Ball that will not be enough to take out the Dugong. At this point, just has to shield. I'm not sure how much a double debuffed Rock Weather Ball is going to do, but I have a feeling that we're going to see very shortly Castform's health is getting so incredibly low. It is really rough here. Down goes the Dugong. The resisted Shadow Claws coming in. Can Meezer get to a Rock Weather Ball? And she is able, just barely clutch, able to get to the Rock Weather Ball that will be enough to... Oh, no, it's not. One more tackle to take out that Beware. Absolutely massive plays from Meezer there. Really, like, oh man, that is huge. Oh jeez. And like, even just like being able to go, I can tank this first Icy Wind. I need both of these shields. There's going to be one more Icy Wind coming through, then the Bewere's going to come out. But man, oh, that's what an awesome game. But again, mad shout out to Hayleaf as well, who played fantastic. But it does mean that Meezer is going to be going through into the last round. Now, unfortunately, Meezer did not have, I think game 2 is missing. So I'm going to read her recap after game 1. We'll watch game 1. I'll pause. Game 2 recap. Game 3. So we'll see how we go up against Posty 1 Kenobi, who's running Araquanid, Swoobat, Normal Castform, Sandy Cloak Wormadam, Dugong, and Ampharos again. So I have a feeling we might get a little bit more Ampharos action. Ampharos really quite scary. I didn't say this before, but Ampharos is really scary for Meezer's team in particular, with 2 water types, Samurott and Celio, and 2 psychic types, Alolan Raichu and Oranguru. So like, really strong effort from Meezer to be able to fight through that Ampharos action as well. But I do have a feeling that we're going to see even more Ampharos action sort of coming out through here. Potentially, like, I don't know. There's reason to bring and to not bring Dugong. Obviously, Hayleaf decided that it was worth bringing in, and I think there's definitely a reason to bring it. I guess it depends how much you think that Meezer is going to be bringing in the Alolan Raichu, because that is sort of like the only solid counter to Dugong on Meezer's team. I mean, normal Castform does pretty good as well, but as we saw in that last one, the Icy Winds can really add up and really reduce your ability to damage Dugong. Like, Meezer sort of was really struggling with that matchup there. Able to get out in, like, barely have enough health for the Shadow Claws to survive and get that Rock Weather Ball off, plus the tackle. But it also made that matchup even harder because it was so debuffed going into that matchup. So Dugong, very versatile Pokemon as well. Interested to see if Sandy Cloak, a Wormadam, makes an appearance. I'm not really familiar with how it operates. I think it's a Bug Biter, I think. But I mean, we'll find out potentially in this next battle. So let's jump in, take a look at what Posty 1 Kenobi is going to run. And we've got the Araquanid coming into the Nidoking. This is not a great matchup for Meezer, because that Araquanid is really going to be able to add up the Bubble Beams that'll do a fair bit of damage to Nidoking, even though they're not a great move. Interestingly, Posty 1 Kenobi actually burning the shield on the Sand Tomb. Potentially a little bit scared of this Nidoking in the back. I'm not sure what that might mean, but going for the Bubble Beam, or just playing the sort of classic play of you shield the first move because the next moves are going to be doing a little bit less with the Bubble Beam, but then paired up with the Sand Tomb, the defense is dropping as well. So Posty actually double shielding here. really wants to protect this Araquanid. I do wonder if it's like double weak. There's not really that much weak in the back to a Nidoking though. So maybe just thinking that Araquanid is going to be huge here. But now has to face the 0-2 shield disadvantage. So Meezer going to just sort of happily take this Bubble Beam. No stress in the world. Could potentially tackle down, although you might have to take another Bubble Beam. So Meezer deciding to go for a Rock Weather Ball there. And here comes the Sandy Wormadam. I think that is Bug Bite as well. And farms up some energy before swapping out into the Celio. I think that there is a Rock move. Oh no, got off Bug Buzz. So Bug Buzz getting that first shield. And here comes Ampharos. This is actually not great for Meezer. Sort of has to question burning the last shield here so that she can get these body slams off almost at the, or maybe at the back-to-back. Ampharos is a pretty squishy Pokemon. This won't one-hit KO, but it will bring it... actually, that did a little less than I thought it was going to do. That means that Celio is going to need another body slam to be able to take this Ampharos out, and it's not going to get there before Ampharos can throw a Brutal Swing through, or Thunder Punch. And it is that Thunder Punch. So taking out the Celio, Castform comes in, going to go for a full farm down, and now has a ton of energy to throw onto that Sand Cloak Wormadam in the back. The question is, how bulky is this Wormadam? Can it take an energy ball? It can take an energy ball, but it's Castform on the heels of a Rock Weather Ball, and I think that this will be enough to KO that Sandy Wormadam. And we've got that little game lag that happens at the end of the battle to make you stress out. But is it? Oh, whoop, forgot. So Game 1, Meezer takes it. Game 2, Posty. So Meezer ran Samurott, Castform, Nidoking. So very similar team. Led Samurott into Dugong, and then Dugong put an absolute ton of work and then ended up losing with Castform into Ampharos in the end. So sort of what we've missed is that Dugong is a massive threat for Meezer. So this time, still again running with that Samurott in the lead, like she did in the previous unseen game. But this time has to face an Ampharos lead. So we'll see how she sort of does adapt to that. So jumping in now, we've got the instant swap out into the normal Castform. You can see we also have a Oranguru in the back, who is also not a fan of Ampharos. So Meezer is really going to have to pull some stuff out, pull some tricks to try and take this Ampharos out. We see the swap into Swoobat, and unfortunately is able to get a full confusion there. But able to, one Rock Weather Ball plus the tackles brings it down into half health pretty darn quickly. And now Posty 1 Kenobi really well timed with the actually Aerial Ace and not Psychic Fangs to take out the Castform. But now Samurott comes in, will be able to Fury Cutter all the way down, but has to face a move in the process. Psychic Fangs or Aerial Ace will be able to take it and then just farm down. Confusions are seriously adding up, but able to hang on. Ampharos is around, wouldn't be too surprised if we see it come out, because Posty does not know that it is the Oranguru in the back, so doesn't know how valuable this Ampharos is. Does burn that shield, but the back-to-back Hydro Cannon now coming out. And we do see the double shield, so now it is up to Oranguru to take this out. But now that it is 2 shields to 0, Oranguru might just be able to force its way through here. Shielding up the first Brutal Swing, now going to go up. We'll see if she goes for the foul play. He's going to go for the foul play, but catches it onto the Dugong. Not the best spot for Meezer to be in. Would have been really nice to get that Psychic, but now is going to have to play. Where does she throw this one shield? This single Pokemon has to take out both this Dugong and the Ampharos in the back, deciding to let the Icy Wind come through because a Brutal Swing from Ampharos would be a little bit more threatening. Charging up a lot of energy here, but getting very low, throwing the Psychic that I think will be enough to KO the Dugong, even after the Icy Wind debuff that came through. Here's Ampharos and gets to the foul play before the next Volt Switch comes through. Is this going to be enough after being debuffed from Icy Wind to take Ampharos out? And it is! Meezer76 securing the win, taking out the last round 2-1. That is 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Meezer fighting through really by the skin of her teeth with some fantastic plays and some fantastic adaptations as she went as well. But, you know, it's hard to get past that. I mean, Ampharos, I'm a big fan. Evidently, Meezer really had to fight hard to get through that Ampharos. Going in, getting both shields off the Ampharos and needing that 2 shield to 0 shield advantage for Oranguru to be able to do anything. I almost wonder if Posty 1 Kenobi potentially shot themselves in the foot a little bit by swapping out. Maybe not though. You definitely would have been able to get to one more Ice Wind. I guess by swapping into Dugong, you're looking to get the Icy Wind attack debuff on as early as possible so that all of the damage up against Ampharos and the rest of the damage up against Dugong is reduced in scope. So it actually sort of makes some sense from Posty's side. But really nice plays from Meezer. And to be honest, like, I am sort of with her. I don't think I'm a big fan of the Alolan Raichu. I think it's scared of a few too many things while not providing enough value. But the Samurott, Oranguru, Castform, Nidoking, sort of core 4, I do see a lot of potential in there. And again, it's not like these are the 4 that everyone is using in the meta. We just saw Otto Saha's battles, a couple days ago that were only running 2 out of those 4. Actually running Giraffe Rig instead of Oranguru, and I think without a water type? Maybe he's running Dugong. Can't remember. So you'll just have to watch the video for yourself or just look in the thumbnail because the team is just in the thumbnail. But with that said, massive thank you to Meezer76 for sharing the footage through so that we can all learn a little bit more about the Polkadot Cup as we sort of go through Silph Arena Wave 2. But with that said, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. And of course, as always, thank you to my patrons for being absolutely lovely human beings because they are seriously the best. And oops, I was trying to move me out of the way, but I failed. There we go. I am Love Disc. Happy. But yeah, thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next one, whatever it may be. See you there.